$6.5 billion in alleged fraud, the second largest amount ever charged in a single health care fraud operation. The Department of Justice charged a record number of Medicaid fraud defendants. More than 440 defendants now face charges. This effort brought together federal agencies, state partners, and U.S. territories across the United States. 18 of the participating states, as Attorney General Blanche pointed out, were blue states with Democratic governors. Fraud does not recognize party lines, and neither does accountability.
And neither does the Trump administration. It sure seems as though RFK Jr. there announcing $6.5 billion in alleged fraud, second largest amount ever charged in a single healthcare fraud operation, a topic that we are certainly interested in, and I know you all are as well. Find all of it, expose all of it. Let's talk to Chief Breaking News Correspondent and anchor of Fox News at Night, Trace Gallagher, with us. Trace, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Annie, thanks for having me. I appreciate it as always.
Of course. So the fraud investigations really, if to me at least in the Midwest here, feels like it became a hot mainstream topic in Minnesota. But we've seen the investigations in California, in Ohio. I live in the state of Illinois across the river. I'm dying for them to dig their tentacles into the goings on in the state of Illinois. I feel like this could be a huge leading issue going into the midterm, the exposure of this fraud and where it's coming from.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, you look at Minnesota and you see what's happening in California, and yeah, you're right. Other places are about to see a reckoning. You know, you look at the response, though, which is what kind of baffles me. You look at the response from the Democrats in Minnesota. They kind of brought this up. They went after the DOJ, and of course, they have this leftist judge who decided that this should not be brought against the Tim Walzes of the world and the mayor of Minneapolis. And you think, why is the reaction like that? I mean, doesn't everybody, regardless of party, doesn't everybody want the theft and the fraud to end? I mean, these are dollars that are meant for notable and redeemable causes, and instead the money is being stolen, it's being wasted, and the response is not that these people are just, aghast. They're fighting back. They're pushing back like, oh, it's not our fault. So, we don't want to go after this. In California, we had the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Nick Shirley is the guy who went around and he found the Leering Center in Minneapolis and more hospice fraud in California when there were, 100 hospice locations in a 2-block area in the San Fernando Valley. And he went after this. And California's response was not applause for Nick Shirley. California's response was to pass a law to make sure people like Nick Shirley can't go and do that and find fraud in other places. And you think, how is that responding to fraud? Yeah. I mean, clearly it struck a nerve, and clearly they were not happy with anybody unveiling this thing. And it baffles me when you see $6.5 billion in fraud. And you can bet in the days to come, you will ask the Democrats about this, and they will tell you this is the wrong approach. This is not the way you go after it. And they're targeting people that are just trying to, fight for their families and make a living. And then you'll get the race card played in here where a lot of this is going to be pointed out as, oh, that's just racism. They're only targeting certain groups. They should be targeting everybody, and they're only targeting certain groups when that's not true at all. They are targeting everybody. And any place they see fraud pop up, which it's going to be a big number in California at the end of the day, there's going to be resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. Anchor of Fox News at Night, Trace Gallagher, speaking with us right now. I mean, I just think to myself, the numbers, the magnitude of this fraud, I feel like we've kind of maybe got the tip of the iceberg, but we know that the iceberg is there and we're trying to steer the ship. Will we do it in time? We don't know. But we do have an administration that it does seem all the cabinet positions are interested in exposing fraud if they can find it, waste, fraud, and abuse. And it just feels so much like the elected officials or the punditry on the left that they've kind of lost the plot with voters, people who will actually get to weigh in this November and say, you know what, I'm really struggling to find something on this side of the aisle that I can really support. And you clearly don't understand how it doesn't matter red or blue. A taxpayer dollar is green. And it appears as though you don't understand that I don't want to be funding all of this fraud that's benefiting a whole bunch of people except for me. And the roads aren't good. It's not safe. I'm thinking about California and what Spencer Pratt exposed a lot, that there's a lot of work to be done with those taxpayer dollars. And it seems to be going elsewhere.
I mean, you drive down the roads in California, and people will tell you. You talk to the body shops, and you talk to the people who do alignments on cars, and they're happy as can be because they're making money hand over fist because the roads in California are so bad to drive on that it's rough on cars, especially older cars. And yet you have this resistance to be able to put dollars into the highest gas taxes in the country in California, highest gas prices in the country in California, and you think, where is all of this money going? So when you start talking about fraud and you start talking about the lack of accountability for where all of this money is going that's supposed to be put into things like roads and traffic lights and trying to make the conditions better in California, it's not happening. At least if it is happening, it's happening very slowly, meaning they don't have the resources to have this robust response for all this gas tax money. And then, of course, you do investigating, you find out, well, a lot of that money is going to different places. You know, they're kind of borrowing from here and paying for health care for illegal immigrants. They're doing a lot of different, just we'll take some money here and put it into this fund, and it's not going where it should be going. And that's the response. That's what Spencer Pratt was trying to point out, which is this is crazy. It's crazy that everything in California is being done incorrectly. The bullet train. The bullet train that is costing billions and billions of dollars, and we haven't laid a single foot of track. I mean, you hear the governor with the whole gaslighting of, we are now in the track laying phase. He won't say there's track being laid. It's the track laying phase. When does the track laying phase actually begin? I mean, that's the whole thing. You're like, this semantics of, this is the track laying phase. No, it's not. There's no track being laid. You're spending billions and billions of dollars on these projects. The homelessness problem keeps getting worse, and you keep spending billions on homelessness. And Karen Bass's thing, her correction was going to be, well, we need to fix these people's teeth. Well, you need to fix the drug problem that led to the bad teeth in the first place. You can't just give out more drugs and then fix their teeth and hope that something miraculous is going to happen in the meantime to solve the initial drug problem.
Yeah.
So there's this backwards thinking in California and a lot of other states, and Spencer Pratt struck a nerve. And, of course, he's now out of the race, and Nithya Raman, a Democratic socialist, is now, look, she's got as good a chance as Karen Bass to become the next mayor of Los Angeles. And that's the scary trend that's going on around the country. It's election day in a lot of places. You see New York, and you see California, and you see, Washington, D.C. and Seattle, where they have elected these Democratic socialists. And these people they truly, truly believe that you should defund the police. The anti-Semitism is off the charts. I mean, the things that they believe in as a group are now gaining in popularity around the country. And you're thinking, how is it possible? I mean, when October 7 happened 3 years ago, I was thinking, the first time I heard people chanting from the river to the sea, literally chanting to eradicate an entire religion, entire race, you think, I'd never heard anything like that, and people were shocked. And now you hear it every day, and people are like, yeah. I mean, they're applauding Luigi Mangione, right? They're saying that the kid in Texas, that Carmelo Anthony, and going after and stabbing a kid to death was easily self-defense. Like, it wasn't self-defense. You can't answer a shove with a knife to the chest. It's just the way the law is in every state in the country. And yet people are advocating, no, this was clearly self-defense. It wasn't.
Yeah. Trace Gallagher speaking with us, anchor of Fox News at Night and chief breaking news correspondent. I just think about all of these instances that you're talking about. If you're just, an average Joe here in St. Louis on Washington Avenue having a cup of coffee with another average Joe, and you're talking about these stories, there's an obvious common sense that exists in that conversation when you peel apart all of the politics of it. I'm wondering, Trace, how much you think that the media has lent into, it's not always just how you cover a story, but it's even if you cover a story, that story selection in the media can weigh in heavily. Fox News, which is the one that everybody watches, even the people who don't necessarily lean right, they like to watch Fox News because they're the best in the game. When you cover a story, it's easy for people to say, well, if Fox covered it, it's a right-wing story, when all of these things you just talked about, like I said, in that cafe on Washington Avenue here in St. Louis, there's just a common sense. It's not red or blue. How much responsibility does the media have in where we are in this moment?
A ton. I mean, the media has a ton of responsibility. Every night on our show, we do a media segment because we want to kind of point out it's not just what you report. It is, you're exactly right, Annie. It's what you do not report, right? It is what you leave out that is so important. And moreover, it's important how the story is framed. I mean, I reading a headline in the LA Times today about, there was going to be a heat wave, a big heat wave's coming to Southern California today. And you look at the temperatures and you're like, whoa, it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. And you think, this is not a heat wave. It's going to be in the low 90s in the valleys. It's always in June in the low 90s in the valleys. It's called summer. It happens every summer. And, where we live, it's very mild and very moderate, but they frame it as, oh, this is, the beginning. And then you look back at the dates. So we did some research. You look back at the dates, and sure enough, in the 80s and 90s, you pull up the dates in June, and the temperatures in June, and they're exactly the same. And you think, what is going on here? Why do we have to frame everything that is just being catastrophic? It is the worst. It couldn't be. And yet, when the information comes out about climate change and other people kind of knocking it down and quietly just walking away from the old Al Gore model, they don't say a word about that.
Yeah.
That's everything. I mean, it's everything from COVID, when we talked about the masking and the vaccines, and they apologized about pulling the kids out of school. And yeah, maybe we were wrong, but we meant well. No, you didn't mean well, because you were told by the Jay Bhattacharya's and the rest, you were told this was the wrong tactic. This was the wrong way to go, and you villainized those people. And now you say, well, yeah, maybe we got that wrong. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have closed all the schools. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have, but there's no apologies. It's just like, well, we were just doing what we thought was right. Were you? And that's what happens now. Well, we're just trying to do our best. Were you is the question, because it doesn't look like you were at the time. You were trying to do what you stood for. And and you can put that to the fraud. You can point out the Spencer Pratt, the layout that he was talking about, homelessness, and anything else any subject there is division. It doesn't matter. The fountain that was vandalized, yes. The repairing of it is just mind-boggling to some. Why do we have to repair? Why do we have to build a ballroom? Why are we repairing fountains? Why are we making the country look better? Why do we have to be so patriotic for the 250th anniversary of the? It just seems like there is this kind of construct where the Republicans are telling us that we need to bow down to instead of being patriotic, they're like, oh no, this is oppression. It's not patriotism, it's oppression. And you think, well, that's a crazy way to look at things, but that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah, and we are in a moment with the America 250 celebration too, where more people are feeling that urge to be patriotic than maybe have. The World Cup, it's doing us a little favor too, as well as it's ironic that you have people coming from foreign countries who will go home when they're done here, reminding us of how good we have it. It's an incredible gift for America on our 250th birthday.
I went to a wedding this weekend, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and his family came from Cuba. And he said, you really have to know, if you have to be in a different country. You have to live under a different lifestyle and a different regime and a different way of doing things to understand what it means to live in this country. I mean, he literally went on for 10 minutes about, his father, and, his father just passed away recently, but his father literally, brought his family to Miami from Cuba, and they built this robust business, and they've all been successful. And he said, nobody understands truly unless they come from a Cuba or a Venezuela or someplace else. And then when they sit down and they keep talking to you about what it's like to live in that country versus what it's like to live here, people finally get a little bit of understanding about how good they've got it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to convey that to people who live here and are constantly bemoaning how bad the country is just because they don't like the person who's the president of the country right now.
Yeah, it's priceless perspective and a gift for you to be able to listen to those individual stories, and for us as well. Thank you, Trace, for being with us. We'd love to have you back again soon. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Chief breaking news correspondent and anchor of Fox News at night, Trace Gallagher. I always try to sneak in at least a portion of Fox News at night before I go to bed if I've got a busy afternoon, just to catch up on the latest news of the day. Trace does a wonderful job, and we're grateful that he was able to spend some time with us this afternoon